This is KG2IR on 3885, if that's where we are.
Hey, if you don't mind, Nick, could you give us a real... Billy put the picture up there of the back of the Hummer. So for those who are going to look at this who don't know what they're looking at, could you give them a rundown of what that radio is, how it's powered? And I guess that's what, a 2003 or 4 Hummer, because your wife gave you a Hummer for your birthday there. Would you mind expanding on that a little? And glad to hear you're still doing the sugary desserts, man.
Man, I can't survive without those. They get me to midnight so I can watch TV or do other things. Yeah, I've been doing those, doing a lot of hot fudge sundaes, banana splits, but now we're on kicks with lots of fruit. Great stuff, you know, especially at this time of year when you can get some really good things to eat in the way of fruits. Even really good fresh vegetables. You know what's been lacking is corn on the cob. We haven't seen that yet. Hopefully we'll see that soon. That and lobster. Miss those things in steamers. You know, what happens from Long Island. Yeah, the Hummer. And that's correct. A little background on that. We had a series of Jeeps. One right after the other. You know, every few years we'd get a brand Jeep, Grand Cherokee, all decked out. And they were coming out with a competitor to the Hummer, the H2, which was a really nice vehicle. In fact, when we were covering the Javits Center for the auto show, if you remember that, at WNBC, I was over there and I got the preview. You know, we had the crew over there. And I saw that. I guess they called it a concept vehicle at the time. I said, man, I would like to have one of these. So we went to the Jeep dealer, who we know quite well after having a few of them. And he said, yeah, we're going to get it, we're going to get it, we're going to go get it. Because it wasn't coming in, and I was getting a bit frustrated. And what all started this is I bought a complete GRC-19 setup, if you remember, from, unfortunately, who is now silent, KG2 OBO, Buzzard Rich. Went over there, met him at the Cheese Quake, stopped there on Jersey Turnpike about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, like a big drug deal going down, moving stuff from one truck to my vehicle, which was a Jeep at the time, and took it home. And I said, you know, what am I going to do with this thing? I really want to make it mobile. I'm going to buy a Jeep, you know, regular quarter-ton 4x4s. We used to title them in the service. And, you know, it's not a vehicle you want to be running around all year. It's a regular vehicle going on long trips with, even though I had to do it when I was in the service. Would be looking forward to that, but I was going to find a vehicle. So I was getting frustrated with Jeep not bringing out that Commander that they were going to bring out. And then so we said, let's go look at the H2s. So Patty and I went out to the local Hummer dealer at the time, 2004. And I was looking at it, I was really impressed with the vehicle and the size, and she was there with me, and we had brochures, and I was picking out colors, and I was, wow, you know, they don't come out with this Commander, I guess, well, not one of those things, but boy, they're expensive. So we went home, and up was coming my 65th birthday. It was, I guess around the first week or two in May when we went to the Hummer place, and we decided that Jeep wasn't going to come out with that vehicle. Well, I didn't decide. They kind of said it's still not coming in, probably not going to. So I was lamenting about getting a Hummer. So one day, I have a friend of mine, we're in the back shop, you know, the building in the back, doing some work, and my buddy who likes to paint was painting the doors and the trim and all that stuff. And I said, hey, Carl, let me go out and get some lunch at the local deli. You know, I'm not going to make it. Caddy wasn't there, so I went to go out to the local deli. So I'm marching across the field there, you know, property to the shop, in a house. Figured I'm going to get my keys, my wallets, and everything. So I knock on the front door. I open the door, and there's this guy, a shirt and a tie, with a couple of manila folders in his hand, and I noticed there's a nice shiny Hummer parked down at the curb. Figured this guy maybe was looking for directions or whatever. So I opened the door, and he said, "Are you Nick Balsamo?" I said, "Yeah." "Happy birthday." And he hands me the folder with the keys, and he says, "Now, could you get your wife on the phone? She's got to come down and sign this." She actually bought me the Hummer for my 65th birthday. It was the 26th of May. Never forget it. What a shock that was. And that's where all the guys at work were making fun of me. H2 Nick and all this other stuff. Walter Chesanik and Jeff Baker. The next day when I found out, because they, we all know each other, and I guess somehow Catty alluded to them that she was going to do that. They knew about it. When I came to work that while I was doing news, coming in at about 4 a.m., get everybody on the air for the news, and I was just delighted. And of course, I had the GRC-19 in the back shop, get it on the air, because if you remember when Rich gave it to me, it wasn't working. Now, the GRC-19 is an AM transmitter that goes from the broadcast band about 500 kilohertz to 21 megahertz, or megasecond. And it'll tune up. It's got an auto tuner in it, just like we use in the airplanes. Just press the button and wait for the red light. And this thing, tune 500 kilohertz on a coat hanger. May not get very much power out of it, but it'll tune it. And so I worked on it, and I got it all working. It was all spruced up. And it was pretty nice shape. VWL used to own it. Remember him? He bought it from somebody who got it right out of what the hell was the name of that rebuilding place? Toby Hanna in Pennsylvania. And it looked like it just came out of the box. And it was a living room radio that Bob had. VWL, W1 VWL. So I ended up with it because he sold it to Rich, and Rich, it broke down, and if you remember Rich, says, "I'm not going to fix that thing. It's got 1,000 volts on it. I'm not going in there." So he didn't want to do it. So I ended up doing it. I fixed it. No big deal. And put it on the air, and then when the Hummer came along, that time the 2004 Hummer had the spare tire inside the back. Had this rig, really nice setup, but it's kind of stupid putting a huge tire and take up half the bay. And they had a kit. People were making kits to put it on the outside, because by 2005, even Working Motors, who made it for GM, was doing that. So I got that kit, and I mounted the spare tire on the outside, and they say, to give you all the instructions, take the whole thing out, put these plugs where the bolts were bolting into the body, and the superstructure, and throw away this sheet metal array that held the spare. So I'm looking at this thing after I made that move, and I said, I can make this thing hold that GRC-19. So this thing had the military shock mount that you could put on a 2.5 APC or even a quarter-ton 4x4 mounted in a military environment. So I took that thing and I modified the spare tire carrier that was inside the vehicle. And using right angle iron, the kind you would use to put up a heavy-duty garage door opener, painted it all nicely in black, and made it so it had 19-inch rack space. And in that I mounted a custom interface, an RCL interface for audio, so I could use external audio as well as the equipment that used, the carbon microphones or whatnot that the GRC-19 normally uses when it's in the Jeep. And I fashioned that whole panel out, and then I mounted a Symmetrix 528E fed by a Shure 367 multi-channel mixer. And I also made jacks capable of taking my David Clark aviation headset that I was using in a King Air. Use that as a kind of a band. It's a 12 o'clock audio sound. And I modified the GRC-19, the T195, the T195 transmitter's modular. So I took the audio modulator out, and when I got a bunch of extra stuff from Rich, and there was another modulator in there. So I took a look at this thing, and it's a beautifully well-made wideband audio modulator for an AM transmitter that was known as the T195. And that thing had to be frequency bandwidth limited because it was a wideband modulator. And they had a low-pass and high-pass filters Collins filters that were in there for the audio. So I jumped over them, and I also changed the AD1 push-pull amplifiers, raised their impedance and everything so they had better low end, did a few things like that, and I modified a modulator. And I put that module in. I kept the other one, which was stock, which I still have. And then, of course, it would be fed by this 523 with the audio matrix and the mixer. And that's what you were hearing, or you have heard, anytime that transmitter's been on the air. But I can still, bypass all that stuff and just put the carbon microphone system in that comes with it. The handset and, of course, the microphone. They have a separate microphone. So that's the setup. This is a radio that was designed somewhere around the Korean War, somewhere around 50. It was used as an AM radio. Eventually, the U.S. Army and the other parts of the military would go into FM. I was more familiar with those when I ended up in the service, but I did see a number of huts that were built for 2.5 ton 6x6 with FSK, full teletype and everything, and it used the GRC-19 setup, which is an R392 receiver, which is a 26 volt receiver, meaning the plate supply is 26 volts. And what it really is a submersible, get this one folks, a submersible receiver version of the R390A. It's a real hot receiver. It actually sounds quite good. It has RLC filters RLCIF systems rather than mechanical filters. And it was a real great sound, more like the R390, I guess, in design. And the T195 is a 100-watt transmitter. Now, this is a real 100-watt transmitter. Plate supply is 1,000 volts at 1 amp. It's got 4 CX or X150s, which are 12Ds, which are 24 volt, like the 4 CX 250s. And these two tubes, let's see, the RF stage is 1, and they use 2 tubes in a modulator, capable of a lot more headroom than you could ever want. But they're kept at 100 watts, and a modulator, of course, can fully modulate that easily. So it's a very well-designed radio. The first ones that came out were full dynamotor units. And later they came out with what they call solid-state dynamos, which was a solid-state supply. It looked like the dynamotor cylindrical device that went in the radio, but was really made up of, fortunately, germanium switching transistors, which I converted to TNP silicon so it wouldn't blow out. And they generate their own 400 cycle, 115 volts to run all the servo motors that tune the transmitter and everything. It's auto-tuned. Just hold the button down. I've flown jet aircraft. When we use HF going across the ocean, you just hold the button down on the frequency and transmit an upper sideband for aviation communication. So, it's a Collins invented thing. They designed it and everything. In fact, this one was built by Dick Stromberg Carlson on the contract. So I bought that thing, of course, installed it, got it all working, and then I also drove this thing up to Deerfest, the days when it was horse traders, and put it on the air, because Dale, KW1S, who still doesn't live far from the fairgrounds, he would put up an antenna. Kinds of I wish I had, well put up just for a couple of days. And he would have his military radio, so when I pulled in, I would park alongside, and he'd just throw the antenna over to me, and I would put the radio on the air. I have I don't know if it shows up in the pictures, I have a Tar Heels 400-watt PEP capable screwdriver antenna. It works extremely well. And the thing has been out in the weather for the last 15 years. And it still looks brand new, all stainless steel and Lexan, and it's just a wonderfully well-made screwdriver antenna. And you kind of just bayonet a whip on top of that and have at it. And that's how we set that up, if you remember when we were driving it. You were driving and I was transmitting in the back. That was a fun day. But most of the time I use it portable stationary mobile. When I'd go visit the grandkids, I'd be in the driveway and I'd set up my radio and we'd be having a party or a bunch of gathering with the family. And I'd say, "Where's Poppy?" And one of the grandkids would pop up. He's out in the Hummer talking to the guys. I'd go out there and sneak out there with my tea or dessert, get in the jump seat chair and I'd talk to you guys on the whip. Or sometimes I had a military antenna. It's on these little reels in hand, GRC, I forgot the number, 49 I think it is. It's a 100-foot dipole. And I play that thing out and hook up to it. So, it's a fun machine that I use mostly stationary, portable, in one of our kids' or relatives' backyards. But I use it on the road a few times. I even have the remote for it that mounts up at the front of the Hummer. And I got the dashboard part of it occupied for a 6 and 2 meter rig that mounts on top of that. And this GRC-19 is decked out with all the accessories I could find. Just because, when you collect something like that, you try to get even the accessories that went with it. That's the fun part of collecting. So that's the story. Boy, that was annoying, I guess, to a lot of people. I'll turn this back to you, Dave. And, Bill, you have to let me know. What do I do? Just go on YouTube and put in W2BTK and I'll get it? Or go off from your site and follow the bouncing link? Over to you, Dave. KG2IR.
Yeah, that was great, Nick. KG2IR from W2VW. I'm just sitting here grinning ear to ear, listening to you on my junky but loud 15-inch monitors here, fed with a PVCS 800. Bill Russell, wherever you are, I apologize. Anyway, yeah, you're nice and loud here. And that's a great explanation of all that stuff. I remember hooking up that whole setup, GRC-19, to the antenna system at W2A when you got on the air on 40 meters in the afternoon, and we're working a bunch of guys. And we were feeding the feed line, balanced feed line, at a voltage maxima, if you will remember, and we had to isolate the antenna coupler from everything around it, because like a gnat would fly and change the tuning, because we're feeding an almost pure voltage feed, which is very, very difficult to do, but we pulled it off. I'm still using that same antenna coupler here on the air. I never did, Nick, get any feedback about my driving skills while you were in the back there playing radio, going up the interstate. You never told me anything about what you thought of my driving skills. But it's okay. I figured you were having too much fun to think about it. But I was really trying hard, I didn't want to send you like rolling proof the back of the thing. That was great. Anyway, Billy, go ahead. This is a whole hell of a lot of fun. W2, very weak.
Yeah, let me just make a comment. Maybe I didn't, but because I didn't, which meant everything was excellent. And I enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed Mabel. Mabel was giving you directions and you were talking back to her. Anyway, go ahead, Billy.
Man, yeah, Nick, thanks for that. And yeah, I had the picture up there while you were explaining all of that, and wow, that's just there's no replacement for content like that. Dave said it. So, if anyone's bored, there's a big knob in the middle of your radio called a VFO. This is great. And that special event, that I get lost in those pictures. I posted the link in the chat if anybody wants to check it out. That's the W2A Armstrong Tower special event. Very cool stuff. And Nick, if you want to find, it'll take me a sec to edit this stuff, but for the most part, the entire live stream from today, which is 4 hours, 12 minutes, and 29 seconds at this point, is going to go up on YouTube immediately. You can find all of the links for my YouTube page and the live streaming content on my QRZ page. If you go to QRZ.com, obviously, and just type my call sign, W2BTK, there's links there right at the top. But if you can remember it, the direct link to the YouTube is youtube.com/C/amateur radio. And you can go right to it from that. So, yeah, man, it's, thank you guys. This is great radio. W2BTK.
Yeah, that was fun. I hadn't thought about that whole sequence about the Hummer. I remember going to work, and everybody heard the story about how I got that thing that my wife bought it for my birthday, and a bunch of the guys said, does your wife have a sister that's not married? I said, yeah, but she's a tits. You know how they are. Two kids from the same family, girls and boys, and personalities are just horizontally opposed. Best way to describe it, being kind. She was. Anyway, okay, I'll look for it. Maybe you can send me a quick email when you get a chance.